Well, welcome once again to the program Transforming Lives One at a Time. I'm your host, Deanne McClutchy, and of course, it's always a pleasure to be in your homes, in your offices, wherever you are listening or viewing this program. Of course, on this program, we bring to you any and every issue that affects the human experience. Did I mention that we are coming to you from beautiful Tobago in the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago? Well, we are. So if you're looking for another vacation spot, Tobago just might be that place. All right, so today we are talking about fatherhood. I have two guests that are quite capable of guiding us in the right direction today. And they are now co-authors of a book. Timely, perfect timing for Father's Day. So my guests today, a husband and wife team who recently authored a book, namely Called to Be Dad. Pastor Bevon Benjamin is pastor of the Southwest 1 District, Departmental Director for the Personal Ministries, Prison Ministries and Sabbath School Ministries in the Tobago Conference of STA. He's also a certified relationship coach with a passion for strengthening marriages and families. And of course, his wife, Mrs. Rhonda Thompson Benjamin, who is no stranger to transforming lives one at a time. She's a counseling psychologist and co-founder and CEO of Equilibrium Counseling Services. Together, they are passionate about holistic family life ministry. So, welcome to the program, Pastor Benjamin and Mrs. Benjamin.
Thank you so very much for having us.
Yes. Well, first of all, I want to put a plug in here as we are celebrating Father's Day. I want to put a plug in for all the wonderful, the fantastic fathers that are doing an excellent job, that taking their responsibilities seriously and being a great dad. We want to say thank you for making a significant contribution in the lives of your children, which I would call the future generation. So hats off to you, dads. Keep up the good work. However, on the flip side, and of course, it is no secret, Pastor Benjamin and Mrs. Benjamin, that we have a lot of challenges in the area of fatherhood. We simply cannot sugarcoat this anymore. I think the time has come for us to take off the mask and to be able to deal with the issues as they confront us. We are in a crisis as it relates to absenteeism fathers, dads not stepping up and taking responsibility for their children, mothers who are preventing fathers from having access to their children for one reason or the other, fathers being incarcerated, a lot of fathers being literally wiped out through gang violence, and the list goes on and on, unfortunately. So even as we celebrate Father's Day, I thought it was only fitting for us to continue having that conversation and continue getting the information to our fathers and fathers to be as to how critical and crucial their roles are in the lives of their children. All right. So firstly, let's talk about what is the role of a father in the truest sense, and what does a child need from their father? I'm going to start with Pastor Benjamin.
Thank you very much. I think that that's a very pertinent question. And I actually like to commend you for first acknowledging the fathers are doing an excellent job.
Yes.
You know, I believe that fatherhood and being a father is about, again, I'm a pastor. And so I believe that fatherhood is a calling from God. And with effective fathering comes a successful and vibrant society. And so I believe most of the ills that we see in society on a macro scale could be narrowed down to community issues, to family issues.
Yeah.
And sadly, as men, we need to take responsibility. And so I believe that, yes, it's true that there are challenges as it pertains to fatherhood in these days. However, some of these challenges, I would say, are probably unique to this time. Others are not so unique. In fact, there is nothing new under the sun.
Correct.
It's just that I think the challenges are more visible now through social media. Businesses are more open about talking about the challenges, talking about the problems. And so I think that even as we address the issue of fatherhood, a balanced approach is always necessary, because sometimes some men may not vocalize their context. They may not vocalize where they're coming from.
Yes.
You may just see you may just see them act. You may not get a reason for the action.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And I know women will often complain about, men, you need to communicate, you need to.
Yes.
But the other side of that is that sometimes men feel as though when they communicate, it makes no sense.
Okay.
Because what is said could be, as they say, it can be used against you in the court of law. And so being a father is very interesting.
Yes.
But I think it's one of the most rewarding experiences that we have. I think as fathers, as we own our responsibility and do our best in it, we are able to plant seeds.
Yes.
And the seeds that we plant, interestingly, we may not be around to see the fruit bear or the shade that it provides. But as we intentionally be fathers who God has called us to be, I could imagine that years down the road, society will be better. Society will turn around. In fact, within our society, sometimes we turn around and hear, daddy was a this or daddy was a that.
Correct.
But when we intentionally grab the bull by the horns, as we say,
yes,
and we do our best to be the best fathers that God will have us to be, who knows, our children could turn around and say, my grandfather was an excellent man.
Indeed.
My grandfather did this, did that. And they could smile and they could hear a positive note through the decisions that we make now. So we can't change the past.
Yes.
But as we talk about fatherhood, it's imperative that we, acknowledge the past. We learn from the past.
Correct.
But be intentional about making choices now that will help us have a better future in tomorrow.
Yes, you could just weigh in that.
Yeah, so I mean, when we consider roles, the roles of motherhood and fatherhood sometimes overlap. However, the impact is a bit different. So both mother and father, they are responsible for care.
Yes.
They are responsible for providing emotional support. How they do it might differ.
Okay.
So for a father, he is responsible for building self-esteem and confidence in children. So when you look at motherhood, mothers want to protect them children. No, don't do that.
Yes.
But you would see a father saying, no, try it, and I will be there if you fall. So it's important that we understand that mothers and fathers have a different role.
Correct.
Yeah. So fathers build self-esteem. In fact, the research says that, once fathers are present, their daughters tend to have a better sense of self.
Yes.
So they now enter into better relationship, healthy relationships, once their father is not only present, but also emotionally available.
Yes.
We also see that fathers have a significant role in terms of delinquency. So once fathers, again, they are present, children are better able to regulate their emotions.
Right.
So fathers, even though we can say, your mother there, so I don't have to be there, realize and understand that your role can really affect, as my husband says, future generations.
Yes.
You may not see the fruit now, but your presence, it truly matters in the development of your children.
Of course, well said. So what are the most effective approaches for a father to connect with their child? Because sometimes, usually the mothers would spend more time with the children in terms of the nurturing process. And then you would find, sometimes, and we'll talk about that a little later on, in terms of fathers being the primary provider or breadwinner, that they would have to be out more and the mother would be, so how do we get children to connect more, build long-lasting relationships with their fathers?
That's a good question. And yes, it's true. Fathers, we provide and we protect.
Yes.
However, I heard somewhere, I can't remember where it was written, but I came across it sometime that says, children spell love Time.
Okay. There we go.
And so when it comes to love, children value time. And as I said previously, we can't change the past, but we could take charge of the present so that we have a better future.
Yeah.
I think that instead of parents taking the position and waiting for their children to make the first move, you are the father, you make the first move.
Right.
Whether your child is 6 months, 6 weeks, 6 years, 16 years, whatever, 26, 36, you make the first move. And because when you talk about fathers, father, just as similar to being a mother, parenthood is one of those relationships that last a lifetime.
Correct.
Whether you are in primary school or kindergarten, or whether you are married and have your own children, your own family, if your father is alive, sometimes, no, this is the way it gets very interesting. Because in yesteryear, parents mainly focus on the provide and protect. Fathers focus on the provide and protect. So you have food on the table, well, at least for the most part. All right? You have food on the table, you have clothes on your back. What more you want?
Yes.
And I don't blame them. In fact, I thank you, fathers, for your sacrifice and your commitment, because we are here right now because of what you would have done.
Yeah.
All right? And so we want to say thank you.
Of course. But
But
we have evolved.
Correct. We have grown. Yes, we have grown. And on this level now, we need to now be mindful about connecting with. And so I think as fathers, we need to connect with our children.
Yes.
Whether you're an adult, your child is an adult, connect with them. Well, let's say call a child and ask him, hey, how are you doing? Or ask him or her, how are you doing?
Right.
How are your family doing?
Yes.
Things like that. And for those of us who are new parents, Rhonda and I, we have a son, 2-year-old son. What connecting looks like is spending time with our child.
Okay.
And connecting looks different based on the age group.
Yes.
Yes. And so the way you connect with a preschool or a toddler will be different to how you connect with a teenager.
Of course.
But wherever along the timeline your child may be, you make the first move and connect with them, spend time with them, have conversations with them, ask them how they are feeling, be present.
Yes.
And so you realize I'm lingering a lot on this topic or this word time.
Yeah.
Because that's important. You can't afford to be missing graduations, missing these important things.
Football matches.
Exactly. You can't afford to miss it. I know life happens.
Yes.
I know things happen, but do your best. Okay, in my circumstance, as a leader within my church organization, there are times I travel. In fact, recently I traveled.
Right.
But before I left, I made sure my son likes going to the beach. So when we take him up from daycare, he says, a beach?
Beach.
You want to go to the beach?
Yes.
And so I know, okay, I'm going to leave. I already tell him, that I was going to go to Trinidad for XYZ amount of time, that I will be back home. And he looks like he understands, but you can see he's sad.
Yes.
And so I know I'm going to go spend some time in the beach with him.
Of course. He's going to remember that.
He's going to remember that.
Until you come back.
And so even if it's inconvenient,
yes,
make the time. Sometimes I have board meetings later in the evening, or other meetings in the evening. Going to the beach for 30 minutes wouldn't kill nobody.
Exactly.
And even if you're late or absent, the show will go on.
That's right.
And so time is very crucial.
Yes, crucial.
And spending that time will look different based on the age group of your child.
Yeah.
Well said. You could weigh in there
tapping into what your child likes. So if your child likes singing, they like to perform.
Right.
In Tobago, we have a very cultural.
Yes.
We play a lot of emphasis on culture. So go to your child's performances. If your child, as my husband said, likes to go to the beach, make that a thing. Now, sometimes it could feel awkward, especially if they like things that you may not enjoy as a parent.
Yes.
But sometimes your presence, it provides information. So eventually the awkwardness, it dies.
Of course.
Right? So it's about tapping into what they like and also allowing them to be a part of the things that you do. So
Correct.
even if you are a very busy father, you're going to drop something for somebody, carry them in the car with you.
Yes.
So you use small moments to connect with your child.
Okay.
You see something happening on social media, especially with your teens. Have a conversation. What do you think about this? But you're listening without judgment.
Correct.
Yes.
sometimes we kill the emotional bond because we don't wait.
Okay.
We are very impulsive. So if your child says something that does not align with your value system, you shut them down. So it's about listening first and then redirecting in a positive way,
Yes.
where they feel heard, they feel understood. So listening is a very important part of building that bond with your child.
Yes. And even for many fathers, because we would hear it from time to time, well, all the time, daddy's always at work, daddy's always busy. I don't see daddy, I don't, but I want to find out what practical advice would you give to men who are trying to actually balance their professional ambitions with emotional availability on the home front? Because at the end of the day, they have to provide, they have to put the meals on the table, they have to do this. And sometimes it can be, and sometimes, we tend to take it for granted how sometimes you are sleeping and the dad is thinking, how do I organize stuff for next month? You understand? So sometimes we tend to take dads for granted.
Yes.
And I'm saying on this program, we don't. We don't take our fathers for granted. We appreciate everything that you do. I just wanted to put that plug in there.
Yes.
So let's talk about that in terms, how do they create that balance? What can? Just before we go to the first break.
Yes, I think that's a difficult balance. We have to acknowledge that, right? Providing and also being there. Sometimes it takes a lot of effort. It takes intentionality. Now, it's important that you recognize your boundaries. So, for example, if you are at work and there is a program coming up, you plan in advance, you let your family members know that this is something that is coming up. Now, if there is something that can hold off for another day, so that you don't miss that ice cream date that your child has been excited about
for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks, you communicate that, listen, I know this is important, but I will prioritize this thing first thing tomorrow.
Yes.
Boundaries are very important. People will always have something else for you to do.
Right.
But as human beings, we have to maintain and establish those boundaries.
Okay.
Right? So that is the first thing. Have appropriate boundaries. Number 2, use those micro moments that we spoke about a little early on to connect. So even if you are at work, let's say you may have the privilege to maybe bring your child in the evening.
Okay.
Depending on what you do, you try to do things that will involve your children. Even if you get home late, before they go to bed, you give them the bedtime story.
Okay.
Yes? So you go into the room, daddy got home late, daddy loves you. What story do you want to hear?
Right.
Even if you are away from the country, do video calls.
Okay.
Those are very important to maintain connection and also coming back with a gift.
Yes,
so
of course.
Your children know that my daddy was thinking about me.
Right.
So even though you may not be able to cancel that trip, you ensure that once you get a break, you make the call. So they feel supported. They know that daddy is thinking of them.
Yes.
And that maintains that bond.
Of course, yes.
I smiled while she was speaking because it means that by God's grace, I'm probably doing a good job.
You are doing a good job.
Fantastic job.
Because as I'm listening to her, I would like to say, as she said, you must be intentional.
Yeah.
You must organize your priorities. What are my priorities? If my family, if my child is my priority, then I work things in a particular way. Work is work. You must work.
Yeah.
Because if you don't work, and you still love up the family, same family will cuss you and say you're worthless.
Right. So the balance.
Exactly.
Balance.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so we are not gentlemen, my brothers. We're not saying it, don't work. What we are saying, work, yes, but have your priority, because at the end of the day, you could be replaced in work, in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Anything happens to you, they're gonna get another replacement.
I like that.
But your child cannot have another father.
Yeah.
And so you need to do what's best to ensure that you get your work done, but you have your priorities in place.
Of
You are
course.
intentional about connecting with that child,
Yes.
communicating with the child, being as present as possible.
Yes.
And even if you're going to be absent, communicate it.
Yes.
And as I said previously, that's one of the things I practice doing with my son. Although he's 2 years old and he may not
Yes,
understand everything I'm saying,
right.
he know. And the thing is, when I communicate with him and tell him Dada is going to Trinidad
Yes.
or whatever, you'll hear him saying it.
Yes.
Dada Trinidad.
So he's
You know?
internalizing the
Exactly.
information.
Exactly. So when you assume that they're not listening to you, and again, I know that we are talking about fatherhood in a broad context,
Yes.
not only to the first time, not only to the first time parent or dealing with young children. But if you prioritize your time with that child, you get your work done, but you also communicate, hey, I can't be with you next 2 days or what's not.
Yes.
But on Thursday at XYZ time, we are going to, or you could ask them, what would you like to do?
Of course.
And honor the commitment, because them children are forgetting.
Yes.
Whether they are young or whether they are old, if you make a commitment to a child,
Yeah,
them
follow
children will not forget. So
Of
follow
course.
through. And so to me, I think that's what balance looks like. It's not necessarily, well, we have 7 days in a week,
Right.
3.5 days work, 3.5 days with the family. No,
Right.
that's not how it works, right? But it works, it's more, when it comes to connecting with your family or connecting with your child, it's not just quantity,
Yes.
it's
Quality, of course.
all right? And so that's what I think it looks like.
All right. Yes, definitely. And I remember I was having a conversation some time ago, and the gentleman was saying many fathers, they're so, engulfed in their work and stuff, and they want to provide for them, for their families. But at the end of the day, when you look back, sometimes these fathers don't have a relationship. You realize that 5 years have gone, 10 years, 15, and then you don't even know your children because you place so much focus on providing, which is good, but the balance was not there. And that, I think, is a point that we really need to reiterate. So we know, yes, we are appreciative that you are providing, but we want you there as well. So that balance has to be created. Well, at this time, we're going to take a second short break. I tell you, this time is going too quickly today. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
If you're wondering where to find top-tier quality tiles and products to refurbish or renovate your wall, floor, or pool, well, your worry is over. Come to D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center, Store Bay Local Road, opposite the Bonnecourt Primary School, Tobago, where you will find porcelain, mosaic, and ceramic tiles of the highest quality guaranteed. D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center also stocks thinset, grout, tile cutters, and yes, windows. Plus, a friendly smile and service that's second to none awaits you. So forget the hassle and get all the quality tiles you need right here in Tobago at D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center. Call us today at 460-8802, 639-8281. Opens Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m.
Powerlink Graphic Enterprise, Storby Local Road, Crown Point, Tobago, for a variety of quality printing products, including banners, posters, jerseys, flyers, and more. Graduation packages, get customized grad bags, mugs, newspapers, and the list goes on. Powerlink Graphic Enterprise, open Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m. Call 269-6996. We create ideas that inspire. Are you having issues with your vehicle overheating? No worries. Check out Graham's Radiator Service for sales and servicing of radiators, installation and flushing, pressure testing, gas tank recoating, and all your radiator needs. Check them out at Philadelphia Trace off the Plymouth Main Road in Marys Hill, Tobago, seconds from the Wim Anglican School. Call 639-1094 or 299-3097. Open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m.
Welcome back to the program. Today we are speaking about fatherhood. My guest today, Pastor Benjamin, and his lovely wife, Mrs. Benjamin. All right, so just before the break, we were talking about so many things, too many things. But I want us to talk about some of the ways that our children are affected by absent fathers, whether emotionally, physically. We know financially, yes, but to me, these other areas are even so much more crucial. So let's talk about that.
You know, as a counseling psychologist who would see both fathers and their children, I have experienced so much in terms of insight into, you know, the effects of an absent father. Now, they may be absent due to various reasons. Maybe if we have time, we could talk about that. But children who do not have present fathers, they usually struggle with self-esteem. So children are egocentric, meaning that they only see things from their perspective most times. So they are not able to say, you know, well, daddy, he didn't have a father either, so maybe he is struggling. They are not thinking that way.
Right.
They are not thinking, well, maybe he is in another country working. Children are just thinking, my father is not present. I wonder what I did wrong.
Okay.
And because of that thought that many children experience, they struggle in terms of understanding their role and their standing in society.
Yeah.
Now, if we think about it, you know, I was telling someone recently, if you lose something that is valuable, think about your glasses. You know it's somewhere wrong. Your glasses exist, right? But you don't know where it is. Sometimes it keeps you up at night. You're dreaming about the glasses. Where did I leave it? In the car?
Right.
And it happens to children. They are wondering, I know my father is somewhere existing,
Right.
but it keeps them up at night. When they go to graduations, when they go to sporting events, and they see other children with their fathers,
Yes.
it leaves that unsettling feeling. So their nervous systems now are activated constantly. And then we are wondering why our children are in so many fights, why they are so, because they are constantly living in a state of anxiety. Why are our children depressed? Sometimes it's because they have no sense of belonging.
Right.
So these are some of the effects. Even the research tells us about academic performance.
Yes.
When children have involved fathers, they are more likely to achieve academic success and stay away from delinquent behavior and criminal activity. So it's important for us to grasp that, again, fathers and fatherhood is not something that we should take lightly.
Yeah.
You know, it affects the entire being of a child.
Yes. Yes, Pastor.
I agree with what my wife said. You know, I think, and I look down the road, when a child is from the teenager to adult years, right? There seems to be a certain like anger.
Yeah.
So the confusion and searching in the earlier years, I'm not sure how was the right term to how to describe it, but sometimes it seems to be trying to be converted into anger
Right.
or other more strong emotions.
Yes.
And so sometimes you find children acting out a particular way and so on, and it can be stemmed from an absent father. When we say absent, we're not only referring to physical absence,
Yeah.
but emotional absence. You know,
Because
so
you could be there in the
Exactly,
room,
but
but
not-
you're still not present in the child's life.
correct. Or you're not present positively.
Okay. Yeah. That's the other thing as
That's
well.
another, right? And so when daddy is absent, another challenge comes where somebody down the road, well, okay, if it's I'm going to try my best to be as, you know, to speak as,
We need the truth. Eh?
you want me to talk
We
straight?
need the truth.
So for the young men, daddy not at home,
Right.
but there's a gang leader,
Yeah.
or there is somebody there who is providing and protecting you.
Of course.
And so you go to them for your provision and your protection.
Yes.
And not only provision and protection, you also start to model behavior.
Of course.
And then we see another generation of criminals have been born. Right? Because daddy wasn't at home providing and protecting. And as we said before, we're not only referring to food on the table.
Yes.
We're talking about that your presence, not presence
Yes.
with
yes.
the T.
Yes.
Presence.
Correct.
And so that's important. For the women, for the young ladies now, daddy not at home. And so the first guy, the first man, the first male to whisper something in your ears is like the sweetest thing that has
you
ever
feel
been heard.
special.
You feel special. You feel heard. You feel seen. And then you end up being taken advantage of.
Of course.
And again, there's another generation another generation of problems happen there.
Yeah.
Because in such circumstances, if these men aren't mindful or aren't intentional of being good fathers themselves, you may have a situation where these young ladies end up becoming pregnant
Yeah.
and end up becoming single mothers because the men wasn't on that in the first place.
Of course. Of
You know,
course.
and again, the cycle continues. And so I believe, again, we can't change the past, but for my brothers, let us choose to be present now. Present physically, present emotionally for our children, be the parents that God has called us to be. And that's going to help, I believe, curb some of the gang violence and the criminal activity and curb some of those other family issues that are stemmed out of a father's absence.
Of course, that is so, so very important because when a father is not around, I mean, listen, hats off to the single mothers who are doing a fantastic job of trying to be both mother and father, which really you can't. Because the father has an individual role, the mother has an individual role, but you are trying to do your best under the circumstances. And we understand that and we applaud that. We understand. And of course, there are single fathers who trying to play the role. I'm daddy and I'm mommy too. And, you know, I tell you, when you really look at it.
As you mentioned that, I want to pause to celebrate my father because my mom died when we were young and he held it down as best as he could with the resources. When I say resources, financial, emotional, mental, and again, I celebrate him. In fact, the book is dedicated to him.
Wow.
Because he did the best that he could with the resources that he had.
Yes.
And so I want to celebrate those fathers too. There are some fathers who hold it down, you know.
Of course,
you know,
of course.
Sometimes I go to, as I said, I go to the beach with my son every now and again. And sometimes I go to the beach and I see other fathers with their children. And I respect them. I acknowledge them, you know.
Wherever I go, I don't know, something happens on the inside of me when I see a father and his children. And most of the time, once I'm in an area that I could stop and say something, I say, listen, I just love what I'm seeing. Because in reality, our fathers are getting so much lick, so much beating. So that's why I started the program in saying hats off to those that are doing a fantastic job. And at the end of the day, it's really about the effort, you know. It's really about knowing, listen, I have a responsibility for the little people that I have brought into this world, and I am making an effort. Yes, I know everything may not be perfect, you know. The mother might be trying to block you from seeing, the court might be blocking you, so many different persons and so many different things. But I'm saying, when you make a concerted effort as a father, I think that is the first thing that we have to look at and applaud. You mightn't get everything right because we are not perfect. None of us are perfect. But at least you're making an effort. And that is what we say, you know. And I'm talking straight into the camera. That is what we are saying today on this program. We want you to make an effort. Those who are already making an effort, make a bigger effort, because in truth and in fact, you are raising a generation. You are raising your children to be someone else's partner, someone else's spouse, someone else's father, someone else's uncle. Listen, I think I'm getting really passionate here, you know, but that's how we have to do it. Because for too long, we have just been sitting idly by and looking and seeing what is happening. And I want to really congratulate you both on coming up with a book like this, because we need it. This is a kind of information that our men folk need to get. Even those young men need to get this information before they become fathers.
Correct.
So that is very, very, very crucial. I think we got off topic, but still on topic. So I want us to touch a bit about co-parenting, especially when couples are separated, but you still have to raise your children. Mommy's live in one place, daddy's live in another place. Things couldn't work out. Okay, fine. You still have your children to raise. You still have your children to bring up. An area that has been of major concern to me, and I'm certain to others, is the fact that many times you have one parent weaponizing their child or children against the other parent. So they will speak ill of the other parent. Your mother, she ain't no good. This, your father, I don't know now, you coming out just like these kind of things. Tell us, how can we rectify this?
I think we rectify it by making a commitment.
Okay.
I know that this C word is one that is kind of strange to us, because when things don't work out to be easy, we switch up. We had to commit. Now, again, as a pastor, my perspective and my framework for my thought is that marriage is still honorable.
Of course.
Now, I think that's a safeguard that was someone put in place, because a part of marriage is commitment. Hear me out. When you get when children are born outside of that context, especially now, you realize, long time. No family is perfect, no marriage is perfect,
Right.
no relationship is perfect. Challenges come, but long time it seems as though some parents stuck it out because of.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so although things weren't good, they still stuck around and they did what they do for the children. Now, I know that's not the topic for today, so I wouldn't. All right, but within our time, we have drifted away from mommy and daddy to child mother and child father.
Listen, that is something I just get, honestly, I really get tired of hearing it. Always, that's my child mother there. And this is my other child mother.
Mercy.
And this is my other child. And I'm like,
Yeah, something wrong there.
where,
Yeah, I see it as a father and as a pastor primarily, when you're doing babe dedications. I still smile when I see a husband and a wife come.
yeah.
But what I'm starting to see a lot of now is mummies alone coming.
Oh, yeah.
Or child mother and child father coming. And sometimes they will say it.
Yes.
Well, this is a child mother. And I will say it. Marriage is still honorable.
Of course.
And because one of the things I've noticed is that after a baby is born, sometimes there are conflict. All right? There's we call that thing, boy, postpartum
Yes.
depression and so on, right?
Yes.
And now nobody taught us as men how to handle a woman when she's going through that. When I say handle, I mean
Yes.
understand what
How
I'm
to
saying?
manage, how to navigate.
That's
Yes.
a better word. How to navigate a relationship when she starts feeling different things and acting certain ways and
Yes.
saying certain things. We aren't taught that. We learn as we go.
Of course.
And some brothers, some men say, you know what, I ain't going through that, And so sometimes what you see, especially when you aren't married, let me put it this way, when the commitment isn't there,
Yeah.
when the relationship gets rough,
It's
go on.
easy to just pull out.
Correct. But when you're married, it goes deeper than, hey, I'm not feeling you and you're not feeling me.
Right.
We have a child and we made a commitment. And so that word commitment is important. Now, I remember when Rhonda, when my wife, she got pregnant, I made a decision within myself. I may not be the best husband. I'll do my best to be the best husband.
Right.
I'll do my very best. But you see, being a father, I'm going to take that I'm taking that dead serious. Because, okay, again, watch my life, work with my life. Give me some grace in my life, right?
Yes,
Stick with what I'm saying, right?
No, you're talking real life,
Rhonda could get a new husband, But my son, Ethan, cannot get a new father.
Okay.
You all get what I'm saying?
So your life partner could change,
change.
Yes.
but your children remain.
Exactly. Even
Got
though
you.
they are 80 and you are 100, that's still your child.
That's right.
And I mean, life happens.
Yes.
And so that commitment that come on me, I am going to honor the commitment I made towards my spouse,
Yes.
my partner. Notice my language, not my boyfriend or my girlfriend.
Right.
My spouse.
Yes.
Young people, take all the time now, slow down. Yes, I know she's looking good. Yes, I know. You feel, slow down, take your time.
He has dreamy eyes.
Yeah, you just, you take your time.
Yes.
You get married, or before you get married, go through the proper counseling because we don't know. Sometimes we act a particular way.
Yes.
But 2026, that excuse can't work. Too much information
Too much
is here.
information.
You
We
know?
have information left, right, and center.
Correct. And so that's what I think. Make that commitment
Yes.
that you're gonna do your best, even if things don't work out between you and your spouse for whatever reason, because we
Right.
know
Of
there are
course.
myriad of reasons why
Correct.
things go
Correct.
awry.
Correct.
But whatever happens, you do your best to be as present and as positive, as emotionally connected as possible
Yes.
to your child, because future generations depend on your presence today.
Certainly.
Yes.
Just weighing on that just before we go to the other break.
I think one of the things that we need to consider, even when people co-parent, you may be a co-parent, you have to love your child more than you hate your spouse
Correct.
or your
That's it.
past partner.
Correct.
Now, sometimes we navigate co-parenting and we feel as though it's a competition.
Yeah.
So I want to be the good parent.
Yes.
And I want the father or mother of my child to be
be the
seen
bad
as the bad one. So we give gifts, we excuse poor behavior, but realize that you are hurting your child in that process.
Yes.
Your child is comprised of you and your partner. So when you insult their mother or father, you are insulting them.
Yes.
And they feel it. Because how can my mother, how can my father hate the other part of me that much?
Yes.
And they internalize those words, and now they have a dilemma because how could this person be so bad, but I love them so much?
Right.
Mercy.
So it causes that internal conflict within that child. So we have to pay attention to the things we say. Now, I understand that there might be some resentment.
Yes.
Maybe the person stepped out and cheated on you, but it's your responsibility to heal from that.
Yes.
You cannot carry that until your child is 18 or for the rest of your child's life. You have to work on your individual healing so that you do not break your children. Yes, sometimes we just have to do things because we know it's the right thing to do.
Correct.
We cannot always act on emotions because we spoke about the importance of the presence of a father. So let me talk to the ladies.
Yes.
Sometimes we are dealing with heartbreak. And in order to resolve that, we use our children as, the pawns in our scheme. But we have to realize that even though we were hurt, that is still the father of your child.
Yes.
And they need them, and more than that, they love them.
Correct.
So we have to work on ourselves as women so that our children could grow up, even if they are in separate homes, are in separate homes, they grow up in a healthy environment.
Yes, well said, well said. Well, at this time, we're going to take our final break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the book. Yes, the book, Called to Be Dad. Stay with us.
If you're wondering where to find top-tier quality tiles and products to refurbish or renovate your wall, floor or pool, well, your worry is over. Come to D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center, Torbay Local Road, opposite the Bonnecourt Primary School, Tobago, where you will find porcelain, mosaic and ceramic tiles of the highest quality guaranteed. D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center also stocks thinset, grout, tile cutters and yes, windows. Plus a friendly smile and service that's second to none awaits you. So forget Forget the hassle and get all the quality tiles you need right here in Tobago at D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center. Call us today at 460-8802, 639-8281. Opens Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m.
Powerlink Graphic Enterprise, Storby Local Road, Crown Point, Tobago, for a variety of quality printing products, including banners, posters, jerseys, flyers, and more. Graduation packages, get customized grad bags, mugs, newspapers, and the list goes on. Powerlink Graphic Enterprise, open Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m. Call 269-6996. We create ideas that inspire. Are you having issues with your vehicle overheating? No worries. Check out Graham's Radiator Service for sales and servicing of radiators, installation and flushing, pressure testing, gas tank recoating, and all your radiator needs. Check them out at Philadelphia Trace off the Plymouth Main Road in Marys Hill, Tobago, seconds from the Wim Anglican School. Call 639-1094 or 299-3097. Open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m.
Welcome back to the program Transforming Lives One at a Time. And of course, we are talking about fatherhood, yeah? And we are going to now talk about the book called To Be Dad. What was the defining moment, or what was that specific experience that made you realize that this book was needed at this time?
Well, let me say first of all that both of us, we have a passion for family life.
Okay.
So when I was doing my master's thesis, I was wondering, okay, what topic should I choose? And eventually fatherhood came to mind, and more specifically, first-time fathers. So the title for the thesis was The Effects of Interpersonal and Healthcare Support on First-Time Fathers.
Okay.
Now, it was really interesting, because when I was asking some of the fathers the questions, they were wondering, we need support? They almost saw themselves as secondary parents.
Okay.
You know, they even reported that even when they come for healthcare services, sometimes they are in the background, so mommy is addressed.
Yes.
So those are some of the issues that came out from the study, and we also understood that fathers needed support in all areas,
Okay.
but they lacked the resources.
Right.
So out of that, even when he was proofreading at that time, how much years ago, he was saying, no, we have to find a way to package this.
Okay.
Men need to understand, you know, they need resources. So from that experience, Call to Be Dad was birthed.
Wow. Wow. Anything else you wanted to add before we get into the other?
As she said, you know, though it was birthed, or the idea came from an academic perspective, you know, writing of it's more practical. In fact, the title is Called to Be Dad, a first-time father's guide to confidence, connection, and becoming the dad your child needs.
Okay.
And so it's more practical.
Yes.
We know men prefer practical.
Of course.
Yes, we had the information, but how?
Yes.
And so this is where we, and particularly when I became a first-time father myself, I realized, okay, I think I'm a knowledgeable person. I think I'm a good person. I think I have good intentions. However, I soon realized that with all the intentions I have,
Yes.
Lord have mercy.
Right.
I needed some information. I needed some support and guidance. And where do I get that? And so from those experiences, we decided that this was a time and season for us to create something that is practical, that could serve as supporting fathers.
Well, hats off to you. I know this is the perfect time for this book. And of course, I will be purchasing my own copy as well. I want to get the information so I can disseminate to other fathers as well. Well, tell us about some of the crucial areas you cover in the book, probably some of the topics and the importance of really getting this kind of crucial information to hit home And that's the thing, to hit home to our men and fathers.
So I think one of the things that I encounter even in my work in terms of counseling, fathers come frustrated because I feel like I'm doing my best,
Yeah.
but I feel my partner is telling me that I'm not hitting the mark.
Okay.
I don't know what to do. And the book covers how to support
Right.
your spouse or your partner during that time. So understanding what she may be going through and practical ways to support. Men are very goal-oriented. They want to know that what they're doing, it makes sense.
Yes, it matters.
It matters. So the book provides that guidance. It also talks about presence and the impact of presence. Well, we've been talking about that
Yes,
throughout,
right, correct.
our presentation, and also disciplining with love. Now, sometimes fathers, they are only seen as the disciplinarian. And there's a lot of hurt that comes from interactions in discipline.
Yes.
And it talks about how to maintain that balance with love
Okay.
and discipline. So how can I discipline my child without my child feeling like my dad hates me?
Right.
How to balance that? So the book provides a lot of insight about various topics.
Okay.
So I will allow you to cover
Yes.
some of those.
So the book also speaks about, how to navigate the first 5 years
All right.
of the child's life as a father.
Okay.
And again, sometimes we don't, you're in it and it's like you learn as you go.
Yes.
You do
Trial
your
and
best.
error.
Trial and error. You hit and you miss.
Yes.
And so, we provide guidance in that area. Daily fatherhood habits that will last a lifetime.
Okay.
Because sometimes sometimes we look at the big changes that we want to see and we assume that you must move heaven and earth. But really and truly, it's the simple daily things, the simple, consistent things that have a profound impact upon the relationship that you have with your child. As I mentioned that we speak about how to strengthen and enhance the father-child relationship.
Okay.
How to support the mother of your
Right.
child. One of the things that we had that the book also has is a 30-day fatherhood growth plan.
Okay.
Again, let me put it this way, what gets measured gets done. Sometimes you could actually measure, sometimes you could actually do,
Yes.
you could actually
So you could see tangible results.
Exactly. Because, we didn't want to write in such a way so it's just abstract.
Okay.
We wrote in such a way so that, the average father could see, okay, you know what? I can do this. I could have a no phone zone.
Yes. Listen, talk
Yeah,
about
you get
that.
what I'm saying? And so this is the age in which we are, where everyone is so much on their devices. So,
Yes.
so much on our phones.
Yes.
But as we mentioned earlier, love is spelled, and as I said, I can't remember who made that quote,
Right.
but children
Time.
spell love Time.
Yes.
And so sometimes, although we have the best of intentions and we are there physically with our children, most of our time and attention is on the device and not with the child.
Yes. Yes.
And that could happen to us so easily, and we have excuses to say, well, I need to decompress.
Yeah.
This is how I relieve my stress.
course.
I laugh and but even with our good intentions, we could be setting up ourselves down the road and our children could turn around and say, well, mommy, I know they never had time with me.
Yeah.
And you say, well, and we will say the same thing that our parents sometimes say, but I did this for you and I did that for
Yes,
you.
yes.
But in the simple things, something as simple as that time, as we speak about our no phone zone,
Right.
we speak about the returning routine. So when you return home, for example, and when you get home, what do you do first? Do you turn on the television or World Cup is on?
I turn on the AC first to get cool.
It's on the AC first to be cool, right?
Yes.
But now it's World Cup time.
Oh, yeah.
So persons want to know what's the latest on the game,
Yes.
and fathers, we could be we want to know exactly who scored, who
Yes,
kicked
yes,
what,
yes.
but before we get to that, it calls for a little sacrifice now. Sacrifice a little bit at the World Cup time
Right.
and spend some time with the child. Ask, how was the day?
Right.
Tell me what you do, intentional time.
Yes,
You remember we spoke about
yes.
priority before. We
Of
spoke about
course,
time.
of course.
And so since this is so important, you need to do that. Fatherhood and faith. Listen, I believe, the title Call to Be Dad. That title is there because I firmly believe, just as I was called to pastoral ministry, I was called to ministry.
Yes.
When I became a father, I realized that, hey,
It's a
fatherhood
calling.
is a calling.
It's a calling.
Because what you do with that child will affect generations to come.
I think you should say that again into the camera.
Into the camera again.
Into the camera, sir.
Fatherhood is a calling. And the truth is, whatever we do now, what we do or not do affects future generations. And in this great cosmic battle, again, from a pastoral perspective, the best way to destroy a people and to destroy the society is not to deal with them straight up in the face like that, but go right back and destroy the family unit. If fathers are out of the way, children suffer, and they grow up and they do the same thing, and before you know it, a whole generation is in trouble, all because the enemy got rid of one father. And so we need to be so careful, especially today, because fatherhood and families seem to be under attack. But my brothers, we have hope.
Yes.
I know a lot of you are trying, you are doing your best, and keep doing your best.
Yeah.
Heaven requires of you your best, not
Yes.
somebody else's best. And so tools are available so that
Right.
we could be the best that God would have us to be.
Yes, certainly. Well, as we begin to wrap up the program, is there one primary takeaway or piece of advice to a father today who has not really grasped the crucial responsibility he has? You could speak into the camera.
Well, first of all, I would say to fathers that your role extends beyond you and your child. We've been talking about the impact on society. We are seeing crime. We are seeing so much ills in society. And guess what? You have a responsibility to make that change. What if your child is the next president? What if your child is the next nurse? What if your child has a significant role? They would only realize that role because of your presence and because of your influence. So we are inviting you to consider this: progression over perfection. Nobody is perfect. But we can progress. We can learn from our mistakes and choose to do things differently.
Well said, Pastor.
I agree what she says. And what I will do, I will quote directly from the book under the
Yes.
chapter that speaks to the kind of father you decided to become. That is chapter 14. You have the power starting today, starting right now, to shape that image, the image of your child intentionally, to be the father who shows up, who speaks with love, who disciplines with wisdom, who prays with conviction, admits their mistakes, repairs what is broken, stays when it is hard, and loves even when love could feel expensive.
Wow.
And so we get the privilege now as men, as fathers, to be the very best that God will have us to be. Understanding that our efforts now are as seed. We may not experience the fruit immediately. No one plants a coconut tree today and expect to drink coconut water tomorrow. It takes time, but make that investment into your family. The same way we invest in bonds and we invest, well, some people invest in Forex, help me, Lord. We invest in different things. So,
Yes.
the fire, water. We go all out to invest in all sort of things for financial gain. Invest in your family, invest in your child's life, because the dividends that will come, you and we ain't even have time to sit down and count the dividends.
Yes.
So may God bless us as we be intentional fathers.
Yes, thank you so much. And just finally, just tell us where our viewers, tell our viewers where they can find your book and connect with your work.
Okay. So in Tobago, you can find our book and workbook at Educators Bookstore. You can also find it at Books and Office Supplies. In Trinidad, you can find it at Paper Base, and you can also find it at
the University of the Southern Caribbean bookstore. All right.
Wonderful.
In addition, orders could be placed by WhatsApping
376-3760. So
Again?
you can reach out to us.
The number once again?
376-3760.
All right. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. And again, congratulations. And I think this book should be in every single home, not only in Tobago, but throughout the globe. I have looked at the various chapters and the various topics, and I know that these two authors, they have done this book with you in mind because they want you to do better. They want you to be the best father that you can be. So thank you so much for being on the program today. And of course, I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. And of course, you know, I need to have my copy of that book today so I can be able to really go into it and get the relevant information I need. So when I continue to speak on the program, I'm speaking from a place of called to be dad.
Great. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes. Well, viewers, that's how we wrap it up for today. I want to say happy Father's Day to all our wonderful fathers, to those who are trying, those who are making an effort. I want you to make an extra effort. Those who have been absent, I want you to be present. I want you to listen to this program. This is not just a program, but it's a call. Just as the book, Call to Be Dad, it's a call. You have a calling to be a father. You don't just have any other calling, but you are saving a generation. You are nurturing the next generation. So I really want to encourage you today. I want to say shout out to my very own father, Simeon McCletchy, doing such a fantastic job. And of course, he's the best dad in the world. If you don't want to believe, you don't believe, but I know from my personal experience. So again, you can link us up on all our social media platforms. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and of course, TikTok on Transforming Lives One at a Time. As usual, I leave you with the definition of transformation, which is an internal shift that brings us into alignment with our fullest potential. Hey, we've got this. See you next time. I leave you with beautiful scenery of Tobago.